To enter this month's giveaway of the Windows $10 gift card, all you have to do is stay subscribed to the channel. That is all. Good luck guys and enjoy the video. What's up guys, SeanEDawgz here, and if you are brand new to my best class setup series, how it works is I take each and every gun in the game, and for the most part I will give you two different setups for the gun, an unsilenced and a silenced version, because I know people have different playstyles. Some people like to go for nukes and different things like that. So let's get straight into it. The NV4 is a fan favorite, probably the most used weapon in the game, perhaps because it is so easy to use, it's reliable, the recoil is very small, and you know that you're going to kill your enemy in 4 to 5 shots. Now if you plan on using this weapon unsilenced, I would suggest using quick draw and grip as your attachments. Quick draw, you'll see that on my class setups, pretty much every single gun I will be using quick draw, because that is one of the most useful attachments. If you can outdraw your enemy, chances are you're going to win the gunfight. Your gun skill doesn't even need to be as good as them if they're not using quick draw, just because it gives you that huge advantage from the get-go. Now you might be wondering why I decided to throw a grip on this, even though I just said the NV4 barely has any recoil. Well, the main reason is when you are not running the silenced version of the weapon, if you try to shoot someone across the map, it does have a little bit of unpredictable recoil, and it'll be hard to keep a steady shot at those long ranges. I find that when I have grip, it takes a lot less shots to kill at long range because your aim can stay in their center of mass. Now with these two attachments, you are pretty much already good to go. Because the NV4 is so good, those are really the only things you need. If you really wanted to, because my class setup really only uses 9 points, the other one I waste on a bubble shield just to have equipment in case I need it. So you could take that off, and you could take the ELO sight off if you wanted to add another attachment like stock. I just don't run stock ever because I'm usually always in the air anyway, so I'm not going to be turning corners aimed down the sight. I would definitely suggest running the ELO sight. If you watch any other pros play, that is the sight they use because it is the most precise. It allows you to have the greatest accuracy. So I would definitely be running that. And for my perks, you'll probably see pretty consistent perks throughout most of these weapons. I do run 2 perk 1s so that I can have overclock, because I like to get my specialist faster, because I'm mainly either using the rewind ability or the FTL phase shift. So you get those pretty quickly, and with overclock you can get them even faster in less than a minute. So that perk is not absolutely necessary if you choose to budget your points differently than I do, but my other perk 1, which I would use on any class, is Ghost. This allows you to stay off the radar, and I mean, everyone knows that UAVs are the most used score streak in Call of Duty, so staying off the radar is always a good thing. For my perk 2, I typically use Hardline because I am running Rewind, and when you run that, you don't need to use Scavenger at all, because every time you rewind you get full ammo. So if you are not using this ability, I would definitely recommend using Scavenger instead of Hardline, because you will run out of ammo. Also, a little note to throw in here: if you do not have a SCUF controller or any controller that has paddles so that you can jump and aim at the same time, don't use Synaptic. It's probably not the best choice. Many of the good players that you see play this game, the only reason they use it is because it has the propulsion trait, which allows you to recover your thrusters faster. But if you can't jump and aim at the same time, so if you don't have a SCUF, that really doesn't help you out that much, because you can't really take advantage of the jumping as well as someone who does own a SCUF. I would suggest using phase shift for those of you who don't have one, because that is a really good specialist to get you out of hairy situations and keep your score streaks alive. You can also use it on the offensive end, try to get some flanks in on your enemy. I've gotten like crazy multi-kills because I use it right before I turn the corner into the enemy spawn, and then I'm behind every single one of them. Lastly, for my perk 3, I use Dead Silence. I don't think I've ever run a class without Dead Silence once I unlocked it, because honestly it's probably even more important than Ghost. People can just pre-aim you because they can hear you from a mile away. You sound like an elephant stomping on the ground if you do not put on dead silence. It is really crucial. You can't really do any flanking without it, and you'll always just have to face up, head up on the enemy. It's without a doubt the most useful perk in the game, and as soon as you unlock it, I would use that for life. I believe I used my first prestige token on that as well, because you don't get it until the late 40s. Moving on to the silence class setup version for this weapon, the only thing that I have changed is I took off the grip for a silencer, because once you put on the silencer, it eliminates that tiny little bit of recoil and you don't really need the grip anymore. Also, when you're looking at the variants, I believe that the best variant for the NV4 is probably the NUKE variant, the Fallout, because what that does is it reduces the recoil, which makes it even better with just that silencer. You really don't need to waste anything on grip. And of course, you can get nukes with it, which is always fun and exciting to go for. Don't worry if you don't have enough salvage to save up for the Fallout. I believe the next best version is the Exalted, which is actually the common variant, so that will barely set you back any salvage. And the reason I think it's so good is because what it does is it gives you increased ammo. This increases the total ammo in the weapon as well as in each magazine. The regular NV4 only carries 30 shots, and with this Exalted variant, it now carries 36. That can play a very big role when you're trying to slay out an entire enemy team. And not having to reload as much is always a nice luxury to have. But anyways guys, that is going to wrap it up for this class setup video. If you did find it helpful, be sure to drop a like, comment down below with any thoughts or questions you may have, and as always, subscribe to the channel if you are new for some more great content, and I will see you in the next video.